Terror, blood, murder and revenge are just some of the words that sum up today's dark urban legend. A place where a ghostly girl craves nothing more than to punish her neighbours with feelings of guilt. After all, they did let her die at the hands of a hatchet-wielding killer. It is said that in the late 1950s, a young girl named Carey decided to stay late after school and play on the swings. She was having a lovely time, swinging backwards and forwards without a care in the world. But that all changed in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, Carey didn't feel like she was alone anymore. She sensed that someone was approaching her. At this moment, she stopped playing and turned around to see a man walking slowly towards her, carrying a hatchet in his hand. Now, leaping out of the swing, young Carey started to race home as fast as she could, but no matter how fast she ran, she still could sense the man gaining on her step by step. Now, in pure terror and desperation, she started to run up the driveways of her neighbours, banging on the doors and windows, trying desperately to get the help that she needed. Carey tried to let them know that she had a strange man following her and he was intent on murder, but no one came to her aid. Now, you might wonder why this was. Well, they didn't truly understand what was going on. They peered out of their windows, searching for what was wrong, but couldn't see anyone outside except the young girl. Maybe they started to worry that she herself was the one that they should be concerned about, as she was, after all, screaming and acting like a crazy person, banging on their property. You can only imagine the terror that this poor girl must have been feeling, her heart pounding in her chest and tears streaming down her face. Finally, she gets to her front door and, thinking safety is only a moment away, finds out that the murderous hatchet man has caught up to her. He slaughters her where she stands on her front porch. Now, after he's killed her, he then takes to cutting up her body and hiding her remains in a flower pot that was at the front of her home. Well, as you can well imagine, the blood is everywhere. It seems to entirely cover the floor and walls of the white porch. It's said that no matter how hard her parents scrubbed the walls and floors of the area, the bloodstains remained. Then, a few days after the killing happened, the neighbours noticed that their doors and windows, which the child had banged on, were also covered in red, like blood had been smeared. People believe that the ghost of the young girl painted their homes red to let them know it was their fault she was murdered, that if they'd opened their doors and let her in, she would not have met the end that she did. She wanted them to feel guilty. Where does this take place, you might wonder? Well, the street is said to be in Oklahoma City, and the name of it has supposedly changed in memory of the little girl that no one tried to save. It's now called Carey Place. The house that is believed to have been her home now has carvings on the shutters in the shape of hatchets. Personally, I think that's a little sick. Now, the school playground that Carey had wanted to stay and play on is said to have a swing set that from that day on has swung on its own. Like maybe she's still there playing as she had that fateful night. People also say that if you go by her home, you will sense this eerie feeling come over you, that the place just feels really, really creepy. Also said is that there have been those that have heard her running and screaming for help that would never come, reliving her final moments. When Halloween comes around, it's been reported that the local kids will flock to this historic district of Carey Place, trying to find her house with the hatchets on the shutters. The children will go from door to door on this evening, trick-or-treating, but instead of saying the usual phrase of trick or treat, they say, "Can Carey come out to play?"